G'day, I'm Garth Shaw, Headmaster at Dale College, and I am very excited to be bringing you Vision 2027. Vision 2027 has been a process in development, which started with a process called the appreciative inquiry, about understanding what we appreciate about Dale College, who we are, what we're proud of, and what we want to become. And I'm very excited. It's given us a real breath of fresh air to say, what does the next 5 years at Dale College look like? And I'm hoping that by watching this presentation, you'll get a sense of that. So Dale College has this incredible history, 161 years, traditionally a boarding school, has served this King Williamstown Clonque community phenomenally well through this time, and still plays a fundamentally important role here. There's this tradition, a legacy, a real sense of passion, a real sense of brotherhood. When you ask the kids today what they enjoy most about being part of Dale College, they say the passion, sir, or the brotherhood. And that really is important to who we are. So we have this vision to be a leading school. We quite like the concept of being rooted and grounded here in the Eastern Cape. Obviously not exclusive to that, but very proud of how we serve this community. We want to provide the opportunities to those learners from this community, give them the skills that they need to be able to go from here out into the world to make the positive impact that they can. How do we achieve that? We are working hard to develop a holistic program, excellence, which really creates life-changing opportunities to the community that we serve. We're aware that it's a very diverse community. We're tailoring our program to that, but we really see ourselves as a springboard, talented learners who might not necessarily have the resources and the means to go out and achieve what they can if they didn't get that opportunity that we as a school are hoping to provide for them. And that really is an exciting mandate for us to serve and work towards. So this Vision 2027, if we look at where this developed, we started with a process called this appreciative inquiry, where, like I said, we sat down various stakeholders in the room and said, what is it about Dale College that we like and want to expand on? And there were 8 aspects that came out. And the first is that concept over there of schooling for boys, the history of the school, a lot of conversation around single-sex schooling, around the role of a boys' school. And we take that very seriously. If you think of the responsibility that we have of raising the next generation of men to go out and impact South Africa, we want to use that and the privilege that we have of leading the school to impact society and impact the men of the future very, very well. So fundamentally important. A boarding home, as small as our hostel is at the moment, it is a hugely important aspect of Dale College in the past, and still something that we're very proud of and leveraging. I think Dalians from yesteryear will say the hostel really is the heartbeat and the throb of the school, and we still see it that way. Even though our hostel is much smaller than it was, a strong hostel makes for a strong Dale College. Third aspect of our school is a phenomenal history of sporting achievement, and in many ways that speaks for itself. Diverse cultural opportunities alongside those sporting opportunities, equally important. It's not just about the sport. A beacon of excellence. In many ways, our community looks up to us. They want to see Dale College succeed. You know, when we, early in the year, we knuckled down as staff and we said, why is it important for Dale College to succeed? And what came through very strongly is that when Dale College is strong, there's a positive vibe in the community and in the town itself. And so that's important for us. And we draw a lot on that as motivation and encouragement for what we're trying to do. Linked to that, and similarly, is that Dale College is iconic of this community. You know, many people around South Africa have heard of Dale College. They haven't necessarily heard of King Williamstown or Clonque. And we need to leverage that which we have in the name that we have throughout the country and throughout the world even. A culture of inclusion. I tell a beautiful story on this. When I was younger, my father served on the governing body of one of the schools I attended, and I remember, he didn't tell me at the time, but he tells me later, he got really frustrated post-1994 transformation in South Africa, and the governing body of that school was not embracing the positive change, not actively going and looking for quality black teachers to come and lead the school in the transformation that was necessary. At that same time, Dale College was doing that. You know, headmaster at the time was actively recruiting talented black teachers who can come in and be a part of this transformation in South Africa. And that culture of inclusion still runs strongly in what we're trying to do here. Be a change agent in South Africa as we lead South Africa forward. And then finally, this concept that came out in that appreciative inquiry is a concept of personal transformation. And there's some beautiful stories. For the sake of time, I won't share them all, but beautiful stories of Dalians who've come here, be it from Johannesburg, be it from locally, really not much going for them, or frustrated or angry, with home circumstances or whatever. And through the opportunities that they've received at Dale College, have gone on to achieve significant achievements in their life, or be in significant positions today. One very successful person who I spoke to recently, he said, Garth, Dale College made me who I am. There's absolutely no doubt about it. So lots of stories of that personal transformation. And we want to make sure that we continue to do that, to reach into the lives of young learners and give them the skills that they need to go on and become the men that society needs them to be. So that's who we feel Dale College is. And if we want to serve the school and its legacy well and serve the community going forward, we would do well to focus on those 8 aspects and expand on those, or use them as a base to develop what we do. So coming out of that process, we identified 10 things that really need our focus and our attention if we want to be able to be strong in who we want Dale College to be. And they're locked up in that slide over there. I won't go through all of them individually over here. In fact, they will come out certainly in the next 5 slides that I go through. Basically, what we realized, to talk to all 10 of those is a bit tedious, but they dovetail together quite nicely and form what we're calling 5 strategic imperatives. And the first of those is academic excellence. So this really is the determining imperative, as a school, creating opportunities, being a springboard for learners. We can do all sorts of things here at Dale College, but if we don't send kids out into the world with strong academic foundation, with strong skills, 21st century skills to go and impact society, then we have failed our mandate. And so academic excellence and what goes on in the classroom and the foundations that we give our learners really, really is imperative. If we don't get that right, like I said, we should cease to exist, really. So what does that look like? So in terms of achieving academic excellence, data tracking individual learning plans and celebrating academic excellence is important in that. And as a school, obviously, we're doing some of these things already. We've recently implemented a new program which helps us with our academic management, or our management in general of the school. And that's giving us really good tools to be able to understand the learners that we have, what they're battling with, where they're at, how we can give them the individual attention that they need. And so I'm excited to that. We talk about our classes not just being 30 kids in a class, not just teaching a grade 10 maths class, but teaching 30 individual grade 10s in a maths class. And each of those kids needs something different to be able to achieve his potential. And so our teachers need to be sensitive to that. And as a school, we need to be able to cater for all of those individuals on their own individual learning plan as they progress through school. Celebrating academics is obviously important, and we as a school have been accused in the past of only celebrating sport or only celebrating rugby. And so that's certainly something that we're looking at, and you'll hear that a few times. That next concept, stimulating 21st century development, is fundamentally important. Again, as much as we have to develop strong academics, if we only develop strong academics, if we send kids out into the world who can pass the maths exam, they can pass the geography exam, they can answer all the business studies questions, but they are not able to work collaboratively, they're not able to exert leadership over a situation, they're not able to analyze what's going on in the media and make good decisions on that, they're not able to be flexible, they don't have the 21st century skills that the experts are telling us that these are the skills that people need to succeed in today's day and age, then we're failing our mandate. And so alongside covering the curriculum, we also need to develop those skills, and we have to be strategic in how we're doing that in our classrooms. So that becomes important. How do we do that? Again, making sure that our lessons cover a range of opportunities, that they're diverse, they include the different types of learners and their different needs, that they're stimulating to a learner who's battling to get his 40%, and they're stimulating to a learner who's capable of 80%. all of that, we have to make sure that our teaching is broad and covering and catering to every single individual to be able to develop not just the academic foundations, but also those skills. This next concept of digital Dale, we're talking about a lot to do that, to be able to give our kids the skills that they need to engage in an electronic world. If you say it in the staff room, if your kids are not seeing you use technology, they're not being role modeled into that, they're not going out into the world with the skills that they need. So that's important in terms of preparing them for the real life, but also in terms of making available the resources that are there. We say it the whole time. Some of our kids are coming from poor homes where they don't necessarily have the Wi-Fi access that privileged kids might have. And yet there's a World Wide Web which has unlimited access to some of the most phenomenal educational resources that have ever been developed. And if our kids are not getting that at home, can we at least be able to provide that at school to be able to give those learners the exposure that they need to develop the skills that they need to? Peer tutoring program. This is an interesting one with our prefects. They put that on the program. They said, we had spoken about it previously in the school, and they said, sir, this concept of peer tutoring, this concept of no Dalian left behind, we want to make sure that our peers are coming along with us. And we love the fact that that came out there, and we busy running with that implementation now and are very excited for the fruit that could come from that program. What is it about? It's not just about that learner who's battling to get his 40% and having a peer come and sit alongside him and say, come on, let's help you get through this. It's also about that learner who's getting 70% or 80% and is developing the heart to be able to support his fellow Dalian, the skills, the 21st century skills, to be able to analyze and understand what his peers' shortcomings are and be able to intervene with a solution to help him through that challenge. And so that peer tutoring program is really geared towards developing multiple skills at multiple levels for both the tutor and the tutee. And we're very excited to see how that program rolls out. And then finally on this slide, just the understanding that everything we do here at Dale College absolutely hinges on having empowered and motivated teachers, ensuring that our teachers know that they're appreciated, that they're doing good work, that they've got the resources to do the work that they have, that they're not getting frustrated with systematic things, they're not getting frustrated with lack of resources, but are able to go and be the best versions of themselves and to dream to be even better versions of themselves, and that we can create them or provide them with the opportunities they need to grow into the teachers that they want to be. So very exciting to be rolling out all of this, and there really is a positive sense in the staff room, a realization that this is the right direction that we as a school need to go, certainly in terms of academic engagement. When I did this presentation to the staff, there was a member of staff who put his hand up and he said, what about sport? Where's sport on this thing? So I said, but wait, it's coming. Strategic imperative 2, extramural excellence. So a whole bunch to say about this, and anybody who knows Dale College will know the passion that runs through the CB Jennings fields there on a Saturday afternoon. A lot to talk about on this. We have realized that our extramural organogram is not healthy, and it was interesting. When we did analysis, we got some fresh perspectives in, and we looked at our management of the school. Somebody said, sport is such an important aspect of the school, but in some ways they operate as an island, and we should bring them into the management. And so absolutely we've done that. Changed up our structure, have a director of sport overseeing the sports department, brought our sports coordinator on to the management team as well, and already we're picking the fruit of that. And I'm convinced that we'll go from strength to strength in that department as well. Not just focusing on our headline sports of rugby, hockey, and cricket. Also aware that that child who plays tennis is looking for opportunities. That child who does debate, how can we make sure that those learners also have the opportunities to develop? Appointing a conditioning specialist, again, I think this is something where we as Dale College have fallen behind recent trends and scientific movements in school sport. And that's really having an understanding of how our learners need to be prepared. And when we look at who we have, we've got incredibly talented athletes, we've got good coaching structures, we've got phenomenal facilities, but we're missing that scientific edge of conditioning. And I'm pleased to say that we've already changed some of our allocations in the budget and have managed to appoint a strength and conditioning specialist, an old Dalian who started with us at the start of September this year. And already we can see the positive direction that will take us as a school. Along with that comes our use of a gym. Again, this is an easy topic when you think about it, but I'll talk about it a little bit later as we have looked at the holistic use of the school and the model that we have. The gym that we currently have in the old metalwork room, I think many old boys would be aware of where that was. It's currently our gym, and we realized it's not the ideal space for the gym, and the gym that we were running was not necessarily meeting what it needed to do for various obvious reasons. And we're very excited with the plans that we have in place. Let me not tell you all about them now. I'll tell you about that in the next slide. Second last bullet over there is psychology of winning. And again, I think there's a lot that we could say on this, that we need to develop the right psychology of winning. Let these kids believe that they are strong enough and they can do what they set out to achieve, not just on the sports field, but when they leave Dale College with a matric certificate, believe that they're good enough to go out and impact the world. We have many stories of our old boys doing that in recent years, and so we want to reestablish that psychology of winning strongly. Like I said, not just on the sports field. And then that last bullet, again, ironically enough, even though we put it on the slide, this is something we do well in sport. You know, we have a real culture of mentorship with strong Dalians who've gone on to achieve on the rugby field, coming back and inspiring the rugby player of today. There really is that very strongly, but we should branch that out. We should make sure that all Old Dalians have the opportunities to be positive mentors to younger Old Dalians or younger Dalians coming through the school system. And so we want to look how we can establish a true mentorship culture over there. All right, so the third slide talks about our campus and facilities. And what I'm actually going to do now is I'm going to stop this and we're going to go across to Google Earth and have a look through our campus. But before I do that, let's talk about some of the basics on this over here. So, I mean, the first thing is understanding that our campus creates the opportunities of what we want to do. We talk about it as an enabling imperative. You know, we could want to do all of these other things, but if we don't use the facilities in the campus that we have well, then we fail to achieve that. I talk about a child coming from Ginsberg. You know, he wakes up early, he walks down through the streets of Ginsberg, he comes across that bridge. I mean, the number of times that I've been on that bridge, it just feels, and when I ask the kids, they say, yes, sir, it is like that. They feel like they're about to be mugged as they cross that bridge. They come through town. The question that I ask is, if they come into the Dale College campus, is it different? Does it strike them as, this is a place of excellence. This is a place of where I can be inspired to be a better version of myself. There is excellence, and this is who I want to be, because that's what we should be doing with our campus, and making sure that the learners who come through our gates, or the visitors or the parents, that they come through here and they know that this is a world-class facility where they can get a world-class education. So big project to make sure that our campus ticks all of those boxes. We want to develop a multi-purpose learning center. What is that about? So in days gone by, a Dalian would come to school and school would finish at 1:30 or whatever it was, and he'd quite easily walk home and have a full meal at home, get changed into sports clothes, and then go down to the sports field. The Dalian of today typically doesn't do that. He lives further away. He's dependent on public transport, and many of them get dropped off at school at 7 in the morning, and they only get picked up at 5 or 5:30 in the afternoon when their contract comes to fetch them, or dad finishes work, or whatever the story is. And so we need to make sure that we have facilities available where the kids can use it productively, can sit and work, you know, in the afternoons. They can access the internet, they can do some work on the computer, or whatever the story is, get a healthy meal and sit productively. Like what many of our tertiary institutions have, you know, learning commons or a learning center. That place might well be used during the day as well, for a teacher to take a class there and kind of have a bit of a different lesson outside of the normal environment. Let me shift across to Google Earth and take you through the holistic development of the campus. Some exciting things to talk about over there. So this is our Dale College campus, and what a phenomenal campus it is. Old Dalians, I'm not sure when you were last here, but I'm sure it'll bring back good memories as we look through this. So let me go through things, obviously starting with our school building and the hallowed courtyard, special as it is. This wing is the old metalwork room, metalwork over here, woodwork over here. Now, this is what we use when we talk about the holistic development of the campus. It's very clear to us that when metalwork and woodwork was phased out by the Department of Education, the school turned those facilities into productive spaces, but there wasn't a 5-year vision on it. There wasn't a long-term planning, and it was just done in a very ad hoc basis. We have a very small class, a very, very big class, a normal size class, and then the old metalwork room has been turned into a gym. But there's not an ideal place for a gym. Around the side over here, it's uneven ground, it's at an angle, kind of almost never gets used for outdoor training, and all training happens in the gym. Now that's modern tendencies are saying that we shouldn't be training like that. And what we've actually planned to do, we had it in this year's budget to develop a classroom block in this. This is what we call the silver lining. It's really just a shade structure. To turn this into a permanent block of classrooms. And we've said, no, let's rather take that money, channel it into a full-on gym. And we've got very exciting plans. I'm sure you'll see some videos of that. On this, which we call Congo, I believe this used to be the old drill field, and a beautiful sports facility. And I can imagine that this could become a state-of-the-art sports training facility. That's the holistic 5-year vision of what we want to do and how we want to utilize our budget well. This space over here is what we call the junior quad at this point in time, and the tuck shop is over here next to the main school hall. And again, we want to develop this into a full-on cafeteria type vibe, a place where these various exciting projects around campus at the moment. If I take you up to the top of the school, this is the Buster Farah complex, named after Buster Farah, iconic sportsman and Old Alien that he has been. And we've turned this into our main soccer facility. And it's a stunning facility. I do wish that it was on the same level and we could build a cricket pitch over here. But currently we've really embraced soccer as a sport, and it's phenomenal that it's pulling a huge number of children into the extramural program and very positive engagement from them. If we go down the school further, so this is our College House hostel, and we're looking to improve the condition of both of our hostels, Frank Joubert and College House, and attract learners into those hostels. I'll talk more about that in the last slide. Our swimming pool, the Billy Rolls swimming pool, unfortunately is empty at this point in time. A stunning facility. What is the future? To have an Olympic-sized swimming pool like that really is an irreplaceable asset. But at this point in time, we simply cannot afford to put money into that, and we'll have to see what the future of that facility is and how we use it. Our athletics track, the RW Searle athletics track, again, a stunning facility. Lots of work to get this up to its correct condition that we would like. Tennis courts over here, one turned into a basketball court. Basketball, a hugely popular and growing sport again. 3 more tennis courts down the bottom over here. The AstroTurf, the King Williamstown AstroTurf, currently needs resurfacing. Then very exciting development happening over here. So this whole block around the bowling club belongs to the Dale College Hostels Trust. And but currently, unfortunately, has not been very well used. Somebody said the other day, it's a crime scene waiting to happen, and very excited again at how we are rejuvenating this facility. This mini Astro, as we resurface the main Astro, we're hoping to put carpet down here, that this mini Astro can be utilized by Dale Junior and KHS and our own learners more easily. And then basketball, these tennis courts over here have the potential to host 3 different basketball courts. Basketball, again, summer sport, has huge potential to pull learners positively into our extramural program. So huge campus, beautiful campus available to us. Unfortunately, not necessarily in the facility that we would like it to be. Through the years, the tight financial situation that Dale College has been through, things have unfortunately fallen into neglect. And we are, at this point in time, having to make up for a legacy of poor maintenance over recent years. And that is strategic imperative 4, diversity and belonging. So important in this diverse community that we serve and this diverse country that we serve. We might be a very diverse school, but what does that actually look like in terms of how people feel included and how they have a sense of belonging, understanding full well that when we get that right, we team that much better and we can achieve so much more. So we need to work on that. One of the other things that we've realized is our management team didn't have somebody focused on that pastoral role of the school. And again, this is something which has grown hugely, and we've made shifts in that already. Appointed another member of staff to the management team, another post-level 1 teacher to hold that responsibility and put strong pastoral systems in place. This next slide is really, really important to talk about the holistic involvement of all stakeholders in learner development. And so as a school, we want to make sure that we are pulling our parents and educating our parents. That doesn't sound wrong, but to make sure that our parents are empowered and equipped and have the skills to be able to contribute to what we as the school and as the experts in schooling, that we can make sure that they are assisting us in that. So big, very important topic for us to address. And then finally, to celebrate achievement in all spheres of school activity. It's not only the first team rugby player who gets celebrated, but every single Dalian who's being the best version of himself and is becoming a better person needs to be celebrated. Last slide, last strategic imperative is boarding and sustainability. Now, I talk about these two as separate items, but they really do interlink quite strongly as well. You know, we've realized as a school that a strong boarding house is really positive for Dale College, and as I said earlier, is the heartbeat of the school. And if we can make sure that the school is strong, it helps to attract learners to the hostel. Strong hostel is in turn good for the school, mutually sustaining over there. So let's talk about boarding first. We've had to be really strict and hit hard where the wrong culture exists in our hostel. You know, we need to make sure that it's a homely space where a learner can come in, his parents are trusting this to be a place where he can develop optimally. And I really do feel that we've turned the corner on that. We have a strong culture, a beautiful culture developing in our hostels, and I'm confident that we will pick the fruits of that investment. Also being creative with how we've rolled out the hostel. You know, termly boarding, you know, used to be the tradition here at Dale College, but to offer weekly boarding, you know, where a learner who lives in East London can come here but go home every evening, or every weekend, and that helps us have a full hostel and increase our numbers and the community from which we're filling the school. So we're excited to see progress in that in the years ahead. Next bullet is to develop an inclusive marketing strategy rooted in belonging. And again, this ties back to a conversation last time, you know, of the whole community being involved in this. You know, we want everybody in King Williamstown to say, we are proud of Dale College and we want our sons to go to Dale College. We want to support Dale College. You know, we want people who are working at Dale College to be well received in the community. There really is importance in having the whole community feeling positive, reflecting positively, and marketing the school outwards as we look to attract learners, as we look to attract teachers to this town. These last two bullets are really, really important, and bullets that we don't currently have in place. The financial assistance fund, we don't have in place at all. And then the school's trust fund. We currently have what's called the Dale College Hostels Trust. Let me talk about that second one first, rather. So the Dale College Hostels Trust has always been in place, and it is very well invested in property, but we're really looking to grow that, and thank you to the people who are involved in that trust fund. But if you would like to find out more about that and how you can get involved there, please do be in touch with us. Then the second last slide is a financial assistance fund, and I'm very excited about this. We have plans in place to launch a financial assistance fund towards the end of this year. I want to be clear that we're not seeing that as a bursary fund. You know, that's really a fund which is looking to provide that which Dale College has to offer to a child who otherwise can't afford it. There are so many talented people, talented learners in the community that we serve who simply can't even consider applying to Dale College because their parents are not wealthy enough to pay the $29,000 that we charge school fees. And I would love for those learners to think, I can dream of being a Dalian. I can apply to be a Dalian. And if he meets the criteria, he would be a good Dalian, and Dale College would be good for him. Then as a secondary thing, we can look at saying, can your parents afford the fees? And if your parents can't afford the fees, would you like to apply for financial assistance? So that is our presentation. It is very, very exciting. It gives us a 5-year vision to work towards. I hope as you've listened to this, you are inspired and excited. Be you an old Dalian who wants to see your alma mater doing well. Be you somebody who is invested in community development and you see the community that Dale College is serving and you say, that's an important community for us in South Africa, and we want to make sure that community is well served. Friend of the school in any way, I want to say, if you can get involved in any way with skills that you can bring, with contributions through your business, or if you're an old Dalian and you're saying, I would like to contribute in a big way or in a small way, get in touch with us. We desperately need to get more people. We cannot achieve this vision just with us. Here at School Management, we have to include the whole village as we're looking to raise the children. Please do get in touch.